We get multiple inquiries every day, even with salaries as low as 5,000, they
Yeah.
have the aspiration to basically own a home right here. That's how much trust they have here. People living over here just for 1 year.
Yeah.
They are hearing so many stories.
Yes.
Plus, even on the other end, because the supply is less, the demand is so high, the rentals are so high.
Correct.
So they say, okay, even if I have to leave after 10 years, I'll at least save 10 years of rent.
Rental. Yes.
And I'll have some appreciation. Even if I don't have any appreciation, even if I get what I've invested,
Correct.
still a win-win.
I see even on social media and many other platforms, you guys are doing an excellent job. You have created a name for yourself in the market, which is a great thing in itself.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Sidhu.
Lovely, lovely. Today we have with us Mr. Fazal Khan. He's the part with Xperience Reality Real Estate in Dubai Hills.
Yes.
And to start with, Fazal, I would like to know a little more about you, your background, so we can share the same with our viewers.
So, Sidhu, first of all, thank you so much for having me here.
Most welcome.
And to proceed with, it's been 15 years that I've been in Dubai. So
Wow.
I have literally seen the city shape or take its shape to what we see now.
Right.
And hopefully we will be there to see where it takes in the next decade.
That's right.
And to sum up, I have been a part of retail industry when I came, and then I moved to banking because there was a period where banking was at its peak.
And boom, that's right.
Yeah. Until the time AECB was introduced, and then there were a lot of rules and regulations which implemented. And then post that, I did business development. Yeah. Until COVID hit.
Okay.
And then that completely changed a lot of things for a lot of people.
True.
And I should say that it did change for good.
For the better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You found your niche.
Yeah, there were people who got affected. But I can say I'm the lucky one amongst those lucky one who got hit for a better.
That's right.
And then that's when real estate happened.
Lovely, lovely.
Yes.
We wish you all the best for the real estate journey.
Thank you so much.
And as you said, next 1, 2, 3 decades to come.
Yeah.
So yes,
Hopefully.
because Dubai market, UAE market, it's not for the short term. It is for the long term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's no different from any other market. Even if you compare real estate with the finance market, whether the industries, the big leading industries, or even the technology. So real estate is no different.
True.
So there are certain principles and ethics of real estate you follow and you can never fail.
Right.
But people, they tend to implement their own
Rules and
ideas.
regulations,
Then
yeah.
they want to mend the, what do you call it? As you just rightly said,
rules.
the rules. And
Play
then
around with
sometimes, when you play around with the basics, the result may vary.
That's
And then they are not happy with the result, what they get, and then they blame the market.
true. Very
But market has been on a positive side throughout. It is just that how we take it.
true. Even before the COVID-19 hit us, people were always speculating, oh, it's going to fall now, it's going to fall now. This is the peak, and every year
Yes,
there was a new peak seen, and we're still
Correct.
seeing it.
And just to add up to it, if you compare the prices of what it was in 2006-7
Right.
and then what the prices were in 2014 and now, you will be shocked that the prices in 2014 are similar to what it is now.
Exactly.
So the market is not grown. The market is just coming back to where it all started.
It's actually settling down in its right
Yes,
place.
exactly. So there is a lot more to come, a lot more to happen when it comes to the pricing, because one major factor which is going to be driving the prices is that if you look at the geographical aspect of the city, all the land parcels within the city's boundary are getting utilized with back-to-back launches.
Right.
So soon there will not be enough land parcels left within the premises or the boundary of the city. So the nearest one is going to be beyond Al Maktoum International Airport. So what you find expensive today within the city, you will have
be
to maybe
completely
pay.
out of reach that time.
So you'll be paying more than that to settle outside the city.
Right.
So the boundaries are getting shrinked, you can say.
True.
Before, if I may recall it, 2010 was when I came. During that time, JVC was considered to be very far.
Yeah.
Mall of the Emirates was considered to be very
Out
far.
of the city.
Yeah. And Alkhil was a deserted road. Like people would barely use these roads.
Very true.
But now it has been like it is one of the most important roads that we take. This is
Very
just
true.
an example that I'm giving you.
Yes.
So soon we are going to be driving in that direction where if you say I live close to Al Maktoum International Airport, they will still say, yeah, you're near.
Yeah.
It's better than staying in Abu Dhabi.
True. Very true. I mean, I have been seeing this change since 92. As a kid, every time, I mean, I remember we used to drive and my dad used to lose the road because there was a new flyover every time we used to go a little out of the city. So it's continuing the same process. And when
Yes.
people come and talk about it now, I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
been
yeah.
through for almost 30 years now.
So I have
So,
experienced the
yeah.
same thing. I can call all the bridges that I've seen happening in front of me, and then all of a sudden I don't know I'm on it. I didn't even
True,
realize that I'm
true.
driving on that bridge. So it's
When
the
was
same
it
thing.
launched? When was it opened?
Yeah,
Like just the HESA bridge which
exactly.
just opened up.
Exactly.
Very
So
true.
it's like when unannounced.
Yes.
They do it very discreetly. So that
And
is
it
one good
happens so
thing.
soon. I mean, it probably takes 6 to 8 months for the big flyover to finish off.
I remember the construction of the HESA interchange. It started off after the storm that hit us.
Yes.
And then there was a water clogging, and HESA was majorly affected, especially the JVC location.
Yeah.
And it all started after that, and now we are already using it since more than a month.
Yes.
So that's the pace of work.
That's the beauty of this city, that it never fails to impress.
Correct.
The
Correct.
connectivity, the infrastructure, the logistics, how they put it up overnight. That's the reason people are not aware of these things anywhere around the globe, even for the US market as such. That's why people wonder, will it really happen? But the people who have really seen it and have been seeing it for over the last 3 decades, they know it happens, it delivers, and the promises are met.
Correct.
So, I mean, now they have the 2070 plan
Yeah,
as the
let's see.
long-term plan.
Yeah,
So
let's see.
that's how long that the rulers are in having the vision.
Correct. Correct.
So yes, things normally don't go wrong when you have such a long vision.
Yeah. And if I may want to add, it was about the direction that we are going, especially the agenda that we have, D40 and D33.
Yes.
So it's the driving force behind the city, how it is taking the shape. And since I have a background, like I am from the real estate, so I would like to put in some few pointers.
Please,
just to
yes.
get an idea that I get asked this question: is it a bubble? Will the market slow down? I get to hear this from a friend of mine. He said that the prices are going to come down by the end of the year. So I have been listening to this for past 3 years. So since 2021, where it all started, they said that let the expo happen.
True.
Once the expo is finished, the market is going to fall, the market is going to crash. And I have been said these things by reputed people from the bank.
Yeah.
So I had a good clientele, and they were at very high positions in a bank. And they would say that, Fazal, you wait for 6 months and then you would come back to me, offer me the same property at $500,000 less price. And nothing of that sort has happened. A property which I was offering them at 1.9 million, the same property last year, third quarter, the developer was selling it for 4.4 million.
Wow.
And this is what we call organic growth.
Exactly.
So, like, you don't need the support from the market. It's the developer who's increasing the capital gains for you. So, no matter which direction the market is going, you are secure, you are safe.
True.
So, yeah, and there are a lot of such examples that we can speak about.
On the same point, unfortunately, people who are not really into the market just are on and off, but here for a long time, they always compare it to see what happened in 2008, see what happened last time.
Yeah.
But at that time, there was a very big difference in the market. Difference was that there were speculators, there were internal players who were trying to just flip the property. But right now, we actually have organic, pure investors from outside the country putting in their money, as a second home, as a security. They find it a safe haven. So it's not the speculators. It's not just other people just wanting to flip properties. People who really want to be part of the growth story and also get a return tax free. So that is what is happening now, and that's what I try to explain all my friends and my colleagues as well who just have a doubt or something.
True.
This is a difference. Okay, things happen, but this is what is the difference since last time. So
Yeah. So, see, if we look at the history of Dubai real estate, it all started in 2002 when the market was open and we started receiving a lot of investments internationally.
right.
People were pouring in the money. But if you compare that period, which is more than 2 decades ago,
True.
to today's time, one thing which didn't exist back then was Dubai Land Department.
Yes.
So there was no such regulation to safeguard the priority or the interest of the investors.
True.
But in today's time, it is so strong. Like even the money, like I'm sure a lot of people are already aware of it because this is not something which is hidden. So anything that you pay against your property is not going directly to the developer, unlike the previous time. So whatever you were paying, it was going directly to the developer. So, and we are humans. So you have good and the bad people all the time at all the places.
Yeah.
So there were certain people who tried to take the benefit of the situation, which hampered the market. And then we saw a lot of other things supporting to the downfall. And
Right.
which is why we saw that big recession that came in 2006 and 2007. But then Dubai was the only place, if you look at the entire globe, even during at that time, the construction of Burj Khalifa didn't stop.
Exactly.
They went ahead and they completed the construction and they gave Burj Khalifa because they wanted to set an example to the entire world
True.
that no matter what happens, we are here. Whatever we promise, we will deliver.
True.
So this is one big statement which I use to my clients that if you are looking at Dubai as an investment point of view or even as a place to stay, whatever the city promises. So if you go with a reputed name, unless you make a mistake from your end in picking up or the choices that you want to make,
That's right.
everything is safe and secure. Nothing is going to happen.
Now, I wanted to ask you another question basically. How do you categorize residential, commercial, and probably land investments, all three put together?
See, I would be not very much strong with the commercial and the land, to be honest. But yes, in terms of residential, I can give you my point of view. So now in residential, we do have a lot of investors who are not aware why they want to buy the property. And the percentage of such kind of buyers are 85%.
Wow.
Yeah, only 15% know why they want to buy the property, what is the objective of them putting the money. The 85%, they just see the trend and they want to be a part of the trend without knowing what they will do. So very common answer that I get when I speak to a client, like, so what do you want it for? They would say that I might stay in it or I will rent it or I will keep it on Airbnb or I will rent it whenever my kids come, whenever my friends come, I will live in it. But they don't understand that doesn't happen. So if you are been renting a property, you cannot ask your tenant to move out for 10 days, 15 days because my family is coming.
Right.
So they are unaware of these factors. But once they start hunting for what they are looking at, so is it like an end use or if it's an investment? So once they get into the market, they understand what is happening around, then they get an idea. Okay, so this is the ideal thing that we should be looking at. So for example, people would come in, they don't have enough down payment. They want to buy a property. Why? Because my friend bought it. Why? Because my relative bought it. So I want to buy it. And then we have to make them sit down and understand their cash reserve. What is the capital that they are expecting for the following year? Because these are a strong fundamentals. If you don't want to fail in your investment. So if this check is not done, then the chances are that maybe this year or next year you are good. But the third year, you might find yourself in a situation which is not going to be pleasant.
Right.
So it's better that we help them. And just to go back and reintroduce, the reason why our company has made name within such a short time is because we take care of our clients, not like the way others do it. So we understand what the client needs it. So we are not the vending machine.
True.
Like a lot of people are vending machine. You ask them, they will give you that only.
Yeah.
So what we do is we understand what the client wants. Maybe what he's asking is not his product. So once we run a check, once we go through the background and once we understand his objective towards the investment, we then encounter or we then introduce him to the products that fits his requirement. And then it's up to him whether he wants to take that call or whether he wants to stick to what he's already decided.
Right. So almost like a tailored, tailor fit
Exactly.
process,
Exactly.
which basically helps him, financially.
Yes.
So that's very much like how we work as well, because we don't say, okay, you want something, we'll just give it to
Exactly.
you.
And that's how we met.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I think. That's how we also connected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Lovely.
So we don't, if a client is calling us and saying, I want a 1 bedroom in so and so project, we don't say that, okay, sir, take it. It's a very nice project. So we will say, what is your objective?
Yeah.
Is it you want to live in this or whether you want to make money out of it?
Exactly.
Because maybe the expectation that you have from this project doesn't fit your requirement.
True.
There is something which could be better than this.
Yeah.
So why not look at the other options? And before that, let's understand your finances. Like, what is the cash reserve you are carrying in your hand? How does it look like for the next year? So that we want to make sure that the client is not going through any rough patch
Right.
coming
right.
in the coming years.
I think this is one of the solid reasons that why you and your company is so successful, because you look from a service point of view.
Touch wood.
At the end of the day, both our industries, we are service providers.
Exactly.
And if we start just selling the end product,
Correct.
is when we start failing. We
Exactly.
need to look at it from the client's perspective. Get into his shoes. So that's how we'll be successful.
And see, our founder, the reason why they named Xperience
Right.
is because they wanted to make sure the experience that our client gets is unforgettable in a
Lovely.
positive way, not in a negative way, because there are both sides.
Right.
And we only sell a product to a client, which I would sell it to my family, which I would sell it to my brother, sister, my relative, or my dear friend. So we will not sell anything just for the sake of selling.
Right.
So we would not sell. It's okay. Even if you don't sell, it's fine. But tomorrow, if the client wants me to resell it for him, I should be there, open arms, and I would say like, okay, it's
Yes.
nothing to worry. We will do it for you.
True. True.
That's how
Because
it should be.
that's where your importance come into play.
Exactly.
It's not just today; it's even at a
Exactly.
later stage.
And as we say that when we sell, our job is not done. That's the time our job starts. So selling is just the start of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because once you sell, you're just introducing the product to the client. But beyond that is what you have to take care. Because how the investment is going, so you have to make sure you update the clients on a regular basis of this is the market situation. This is what your money looks like now after 6 months, after a year. So even he's happy that he's
They
seeing
take care
some
of
growth.
us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So usually these things doesn't happen in the market.
True. Very
And
true. Very
this is, I would say that this is something that a lot of people can implement. They can start doing it
true. Yes.
just to create that bond between the client, so that if someone wants to reinvest or is thinking of reinvest, they should only think of one name, the same
Exactly.
person who got him the investment the previous time.
True. Very true. I mean, most of our business, say at least 50-55%, comes in as a referral,
Yeah.
or a second time mortgage.
Correct.
So that's because we focus on giving quality service. We don't just say, okay, it's done, bye, and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's very important. I
Yes,
think
yes.
everybody should start doing that.
True. And as I see, even on social media and many other platforms, you guys are doing an excellent job.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
You
very
guys
much.
are doing. You have created a name for yourself in the market, which is a great thing in itself.
So another thing I want to ask you is, these major developments which happened over the last few years, like COVID and Expo in Dubai's case, how have these basically influenced the property market in the UAE?
See, I would say Expo was scheduled much before COVID happened.
True.
Yeah, because we were expecting that 2020 was going to be the Expo, but unfortunately, just a few months ago, we experienced the COVID.
Yeah.
But initially, if you see, it wasn't very pleasant. But soon, people started taking the benefit of the situation. Those were the smart investors. So when a lot of people were running ahead, selling their properties, disposing it off at the original prices that they made their purchases at, somewhere even ready to take a loss of 100, 200,000, and they just wanted to leave because
They
there
were
was
scared.
nothing clear about what is going to happen next,
Yeah.
because the borders were shut, there was no interaction, there was no way that you can go back to your family, so people were scared.
Yes.
But there was a segment of people who took this as an opportunity. So I still remember like this thing happened with my client. She has a villa in Dubai Hills Estate. Okay, she has a big villa for herself, and the neighbor wanted to sell it off at an original price. So the neighbor exited at 3.5 million. She sold the property to my client and they went. Now my client is enjoying a capital appreciation of more than 5 million on it. And since she already has, she never lived in that second villa. She rented it. And the rental that she's getting every year is 450,000. So you can calculate 4 years, she made almost 1.8 million.
Yeah.
And then a capital appreciation of 5.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is, see, these are the people who took the opportunity in a positive way.
Right.
And this is just one example. I have a lot of examples like this. And as you were asking me how it has taken shape, so just to start it off, Expo was like a corridor, like it opened the market. A lot of people were coming in to showcase the business and take the opportunity with what can be done next. And when COVID happened and the market was shut, so it was like the people had already seen it, what is going to happen. And then when they are coming in for business opportunities, might as well they would put the money in and they will make this as a second home. So a lot of investment came in through that aspect. And post COVID, when we saw a lot of development started happening, and then projects were being launched back to back. So that was the ideal time when people realize that it's enough now, we should invest. Otherwise, if you go back 10 years ago, if you have your family, you have your friends, no one would say, I want to buy an apartment or buy a house in Dubai.
Very few
They
people.
all would say that I want to buy a house back home country.
Yeah.
You never know when we have to go back.
Exactly.
This was the mentality.
Right.
But that changed post-COVID. So post-COVID, everyone wants to buy a house in Dubai.
That's true.
They want to have their own residence. They want to get out of this rental dilemma.
True.
So
now
that
the same thing with us. We get multiple inquiries every day. Even with salaries as low as 5,000, they have the aspiration to basically own a home right here. That's how much trust they have here. People living over here just for 1 year.
Yeah.
They are hearing so many stories.
Yes.
Plus, even on the other end, because the supply is less, the demand is so high, the rentals are so high.
Correct.
So they say, okay, even if I have to leave after 10 years, I'll at least save 10 years of rent.
Rental, yes.
And I'll have some appreciation. Even if I don't have any appreciation, even if I get what I've invested,
Correct.
still a win-win.
Correct.
So, yeah, this same thing, like how people took advantage. Some people took advantage and some people didn't. Can we apply the same in off-plan as well? People are taking advantage, and can they take more advantage as well?
See, off-plan and ready to move in,
Yeah.
they go hand in hand. Depends on client to client. So what happens is, a lot of the people that come to us, their first preference, they want to buy a property and move in immediately.
Right.
No matter who's buying it. So they say that I want to buy in and move in immediately. I don't want to pay the rent. And this usually happens when their tenancy contract is yet to expire, like 4 months down the line. Right. That's when they start hunting for a house, and they would say that in 4 months I'll find a house and then I will buy my own house and I will move there. But there are a lot of things which they are not aware of. So they think that they can just go buy a house and do the needful, like move in over there. But that is not the right approach, I would call it.
Yeah.
So what happens is, when you want to buy a house, if you recollect, I told you that it is very important to understand the objective, understand the finances.
True.
These are the two major things when we are looking into an investment. So a lot of times a person can go for an off plan because there he has much more benefit. So he is not in a hurry to move into his own apartment. He has enough capital, even in hand or reserve, which can take care of his payments, because in off plan you get flexible payment plan.
Right.
So if you go with a like the top tier developers, they might give you a payment plan of 80-20, 70-30, 60-40. So that breaks down to 15 to 20% per annum of your property value that you'll be paying against your property. And the property is getting ready in 3 years, 3.5 years. So what we have seen over a period of, let's say, last 3 years or 4 years, anything that you buy in off plan, the first year has been slow, but from the second year, it starts appreciating 15%. So then by the time the property is handed over, if you calculate, it should appreciate 50 to 60%, but it has given capital appreciation of more than 150%. There were properties which were sold at 1.1 million and now transacting at 2.8, 2.9.
Right.
So this is the benefit that you get in an off-plan property. Now let's assume you have paid rent. So for a 2-bedroom standard rental would be somewhere around 90,000 or 100,000.
100,000.
So even if you calculate on a higher side, 100,000 into 3 is 300,000. So your capital gain has been 1.8 million. Even if you remove 300,000 from that 1.8, you're still sitting on 1.5.
Yes.
So this might not happen in a secondary market.
Yeah.
Because in secondary market, the situation is completely different. Because there you take the mortgage, then there are other things which are involved. So
Right.
so on and so forth.
Right. That's a good breakup of how off-plan works.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Now, if you can just share your input of what are the future investment areas in terms of off-plan. How would you rank them 1 to 5?
See, I will give you my opinion, and I may be wrong, but the analysis that we do on a daily basis to understand what is the projection for 2025, 2026, and 2027, a lot of people come in and they want to buy something in downtown. But if you compare the prices, downtown is already saturated, which is what I keep telling my clients, that if you want to enter to a location, you need to enter at a start, and then there should be a potential to grow. So if the prices grow, you grow. Our investment will grow. And if you consider these factors, then Dubai Creek Harbor is yet to take its shape. So a lot of potential in Dubai Creek Harbor. Then the Valley by Emaar.
Right.
Yeah, that is one master community which has surprised the entire market. It was very slow when it was launched, but then since last year it is picked up. So anything that comes up, it is sold within fraction of hours, like 3 hours, 4 hours, and the entire master community, the entire master cluster is sold. There's nothing left.
When was it launched?
So it was launched in 2018, 2019, before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, but then so what Emaar does is they will launch a master community in the middle of the desert. And the people who believe in Emaar are the one to take the maximum capital gain and the benefit. So there were people who took...
You can't go wrong with Emaar.
Yes. Yeah. So there were people who took their chances and they are happily running to the bank. They are happy, very happy. And then it did take some time for a lot of people to understand that what is the importance of that location and what is that this master community has to offer. Once they realized, then there was no looking back. And surprisingly, it has even surpassed the reputed brands by Emaar, which is Arabian Ranches.
Right.
So if you compare the rentals, if you compare the prices, it is already appreciated more than Arabian Ranches. Then moving on to another location, I would say Emaar South, because of Al Maktoum International Airport,
Right.
the intensity of the investments that is coming or being driven in that location. So that is one such location which can never fail. And then for small ticket sizes, there are locations like Production City. There is location like JVC. These are the locations that one should look at, because these locations where you still have a lot of development to happen and you are still getting or entering earlier with that ticket size, then yes, it is, you can say that these are the promising locations.
Fantastic. So we have the top 5 from Fazal for all types of investments, big or small.
Yeah.
So you should look at them. At least if not buy in right now, at least follow that. I'm sure these
Yes.
are the top best investment opportunities.
Correct. But again, just to add it up, it is about your ticket size that would consider. So as I said, these are my opinion
Yeah.
about the locations that you should put money. But if you have a bigger capital investment that you're looking at, there are other locations that you should look. So there is a community by Emaar called Oasis. Yeah.
Has
Then
that been launched already?
yes, it was launched in 2023 third
Okay.
quarter,
Okay.
and it is going to be one of the best master communities by Emaar, one of the most luxurious master communities. It is something that people will be amazed when it turns out. Beautiful.
Lovely.
Absolutely beautiful.
I've heard a lot, but when is that going to be handed over and completely finished?
So the first phase is going to be handed over in 2029, 2030.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's a huge development, right?
that's a huge development. Yeah. And location wise, it has the benefit because it falls right next to Emirates Road,
Okay.
passing the Yalai Street.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your airports, you have easy access to Mohammed bin Zayed, and then Zayed bin Hamdan and Nahyan Street is going to be right next to you, which will connect you to Al Fay Road. So
Right.
multiple entry and exits. So access wise, it's going to be very accessible.
And I think this is bigger than the Arabian Ranches community put together.
Massive, massive. And it's going to be all villas and mansions here.
Right.
Yeah. So they don't
So it's
have.
going to be like Emirates Living Part 2, Emirates Hillside.
Yeah, a better version, you can say.
Wow.
Yeah, a
That's
better
going to be a
version.
next.
Yes, it's the next thing.
go-to.
Yeah, next thing.
Wow.
And the entry level started at around 8.59 million,
Okay.
and those people are already selling their units at 14.5 in just a year and a half.
Wow.
1.5 year, they are taking capital appreciation of 3 million, 4 million. So that's a big thing. You can imagine.
Yes. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Lovely. So now we've got the top 5 from your side.
Mhm.
Now, is there something on the legal side from your point of view that clients should consider of or look at before investing?
Legal, like in which legality are we talking about?
With real estate, like we know how, so we know, okay, with an IMAR, you don't need to think much about the legal side because it's the name which speaks. But if a person needs to go to a smaller developer, what is it that they need to probably look at?
See, like my piece of advice is just going to be that when you're picking up a developer who has not who does not have a work or any work in past 3 years, or where you don't see what they have done in the past.
Yeah.
So in that case, what you can do is just make sure that any payment that you're making, it has to go to the escrow account,
Right.
just to avoid any defaults or any complications later on. So if the developer has an escrow account, then at least you are sure that no one is going to run away with your money.
Right.
It's safe with DLD.
So in case, yeah, just think if the developer fails, whatever happens, he runs away or the company fails, your property stops completely. Okay, and they're not going to be making anything more. Your money is safe in the escrow account.
So see, what understanding I have, as little understanding that I know, that if the developer could not proceed ahead or complete the project, then what happens is that same project is awarded, like there is an auction.
Okay.
So you have to bid to take over of that project, which is done by DLD. So that's where DLD comes into role. So they will award the project to a developer who can fulfill,
Okay.
and then it's going to be sold by him or completed by him.
Oh, lovely. So,
So under that brand name.
at the end of the day, the money is safe. It's
The
not
money
going
is safe. Your
anywhere.
money is not
Perfect,
going
perfect,
anywhere.
perfect.
Money is not going anywhere. So it's not that the project is stopped, I will go and take my money. The project will continue to happen. The project will complete,
Right.
but maybe under a different name. Maybe the guy who will complete or finish it is not going to be the same guy who sold you the project.
Right.
So that's how it is.
Now, to sum up, is there some, any tips or anything which you would like to give our viewers before we wrap up the show?
What tips are we talking about?
Anything about the real estate itself.
So I would just say that if you are planning an investment, this is the right time. The more you delay, because no matter who the developer is, with every launch they are going to increase the price by 5 to 10%. So yeah, if you are in a position, rather than exploring the entire market to see which is the best, just see 2 or 3 projects which fits your criteria and then take a call. Because I have seen a lot of people who've been looking to buy a property since 2 years, and they have seen the property prices almost go double.
Exactly. And at times it happens key extra choices
It will
confuse
just
them
confuse
and
you,
they say,
yeah.
okay, let's take a break. Let's sit and
Yes.
see how these two are going to, function the next 6 months. And then they lose the boat by that time.
Exactly. And the market is so hot at this time that even if you want the property now, after 3 weeks or 4 weeks that you decided that you would go ahead, there's not going to be any inventory left.
True.
So then you have liked the project. Now you have to wait for the next cluster.
Yeah. Which
So
would be at
now,
least, 10% or 15% higher.
yeah. So even if it's on the lower side, let's say 5% increase, and the property value was 3 million, so you're already paying 150,000 more just to wait and not
Exactly.
take that call.
True.
And this is just the entry level that I'm talking about.
Right.
The property prices could be 5 million, 6 million. So that is a difference that you'd be paying not to take the call on that particular moment.
Right.
So if you like something, my suggestion is just go ahead, because you're not paying the entire money at once. You are still continuing with the flexible payment plan provided by the developer.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's my piece of advice.
Lovely piece of advice. So, guys, the time is now, not tomorrow, now. So, if you want something which is going to be off plan, please contact him and we can always mortgage it at a later stage when it's ready. And
Yes.
you can get that peace of mind for the financial side as well.
True.
Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure meeting with you again.
Most
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank
Pleasure
you
was
so
all
much.
mine, Sidhu.
Most welcome. Take care. Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Take care.